who should be the comeback player of the year. And I have a bone to pick with some people. So, a lot of people are saying that Joe Flacco should be the comeback player of the year. I think that's bullshit. Flat out. I think it's bullshit. Because to me, what did he come back from? What did Joe Flacco come back from? The couch? Like, okay, he got signed by Cleveland, kind of sat on the practice squad, learned their playbook, and now he's played 4 games, and he has had 4 very nice games. And I don't think it's necessary he plays versus Cincinnati on Sunday. So, like, no reason to play him. You can't move up in the seating, and you can't move down in the seating, so rest him. So, he'll have 4 games in the regular season, and we'll see what he does in the playoffs. But here's my thing, is what did he come back from? Like, seriously. I don't get it. If your argument was that, hey, he wasn't playing, he wasn't even on a team earlier in the year, and then look what he's done. Okay. Well, besides the not being on a team part, Mason Rudolph's in the same exact boat. Because, like I said, take out the not on a team. And maybe that's the deciding factor. But let's take that out for a minute. You got, came from being essentially the third string quarterback, because when he was first signed to the team, he has to learn the playbook. PJ Walker and DTR were ahead of him. So came from being the third string quarterback. Mason Rudolph came from being the third string quarterback. Kenny gets hurt, now he's the backup. Mitch sucks, now he's starting. So each guy went from the third string to the first string. Okay. And primarily because of injury. Deshaun getting injured was the only reason why Joe got signed by Cleveland. Kenny got hurt. So now let's take it from there. Both of these guys improved the offense. The offense is playing better under Joe Flacco. And the offense is playing better under Mason Rudolph. They scored 34 and 30 points. Those are 2 of their most productive games of the season. Not to mention, they had like 480 some odd yards versus Seattle. They had 300 and whatever yards versus Cincinnati when they were struggling to get 300 versus a ton of opponents. They were struggling to score 15 or 16 points against a ton of opponents. So both of these quarterbacks improved the efficiency and play of the offense. Both of them have done it in multiple games. Flacco 4, Mason 2, going to be a third game versus Baltimore, and we'll see how that goes. And like I said, Joe's probably not going to play versus Cleveland. They'll have him rest, get him ready for the wild card round. So, that's kind of my thing. And plus, they both haven't really played that much in the last few years. Geno Smith went from Russell Wilson backup to comeback player of the year. But this is my problem. Where, I'm using Mason Rudolph as an argument, but I still don't think Mason deserves to be the comeback player of the year. He didn't come back from anything. He didn't. He came back from being the third string quarterback according to this logic. To me, comeback player of the year, you have to have something happen to you. Like an injury. Damar Hamlin, who I believe is now the runner-up for odds favorite. I believe he is number 2 in odds to be comeback player of the year, which is shocking I believe that he's number 2 at least. I could be wrong. Maybe some betting sites are different. But if I remember correctly from something I saw, he was number 2. He literally died. Let me say that again. He died. And if any of you don't know the situation with Damar Hamlin and you're questioning, they're going to give a dead man comeback player of the year? No. No, Damar Hamlin is currently alive. He had to be resuscitated twice. He died twice and was brought back to life. Let that sink in. Like, I'll say it again. He died. Did Joe Flacco die? Nope. Did Kenny Pickett die? Nope. I don't even know if you could call their careers dead. Like, is that what you're arguing? You know, DeMar actually died, but wow, Flacco's career was dead. That's not the same. Like, look at Alex Smith. He won it a few years ago. Like, that man was probably close to losing his leg. He went from that to playing again. There was a tight end for Chicago. I think his name was Zach Miller. I might be wrong, but I believe his name was Zach Miller. He tore his knee up so bad in a game. And they thankfully did not have to take his leg. But he never played again. If he had played again, then he would have been comeback player of the year. I don't like it when someone who didn't come back from something gets comeback player of the year. I don't feel like it's deserving. That's just my own personal opinion. It's nothing against Joe, nothing against Mason, but to me, you have to have something happen. Most of the time it's injury, like Alex Smith. I believe Michael Vick, when he was back in the NFL after going to prison, I believe he won comeback player of the year. And that's interesting. If anyone's watching this video and you're thinking, well, what about Michael Vick? He didn't get injured and he won comeback player of the year after going to jail. Right. That one's interesting. It's, he didn't get injured, but something did happen to him. He was arrested and went to charged. And I don't know if he pled guilty or was found guilty. I'm not that familiar with his case. But he went to jail for a little under 2 years and was given a chance by the Philadelphia Eagles to be a backup quarterback, then play when Donovan McNabb left. So that actually springs in a little bit of the aspect of the backup quarterback. But Joe Flacco has not been to prison. He may have visited prisons if he's trying to do any sort of prison reform as part of being, part of the community, if he wants to do anything like that. Because I believe C.J. Stroud, if I'm correct, his father's in prison. And he wants to focus on prison reform. And same thing with Mason. I don't believe he's ever been to prison. He may have visited and done whatever. But that's so that's what makes Michael's case unique, I guess you could call it. Unless you want to talk about unique cases as being worthy of a comeback player of the year. A quarterback coming back from being a backup, playing well, and becoming comeback player of the year, it's not unique. Whereas an injury, it can be a back injury, a neck injury, It can be knee. It can be your leg in general. It can be a whole mess of things. Like, imagine, just use your imaginations, if Ryan Shazier had come back and played football. I think that would just about guarantee him comeback player of the year in whatever season he would have come back in. Because he went from making a tackle, being paralyzed because of it, given, God, I read his book, 20% chance of walking again, if I remember correctly from the book, to walking at the draft. That was literally the following draft. He got hurt in November, and 6 months later, he was walking with his wife at the NFL draft. And then there was like videos of him training where he was box jumping. He was doing all these different things. Like, had he actually made the comeback, he probably would have been comeback player of the year. So, to me, it's got to have an element of uniqueness. And you probably, most of the time, have to come back from some kind of injury. That's just me. That's my preference. To me, coming off the couch, quickly learning a team's playbook, playing well, it's a great story. And probably, here's the thing, you probably are the reason Cleveland's in the playoffs. To be completely honest. If they don't sign Joe Flacco, I don't know if they make the playoffs. But it's a great story. It is. It's just not comeback player of the year worthy to me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.